In our previous video, we were looking at how to create an RFP, a request for proposal, if you're going external for your research project. So in this video, let's look at when do you outsource your marketing research? And we talked about this a little bit in a previous video. So when would we outsource? We would outsource if other information sources are inadequate. So if there's no good secondary data that already exists and is accessible, so we can't use data that other people have already created, we may choose to hire someone to create the data. The other reason we would look at for outsourcing marketing research is that we don't have the in-house expertise. And so we want to take any area where we are not certain or confident and have somebody else, an expert, do it. And we talked in a previous video about how you can fully outsource your research. So there are companies that provide full service, and that can be customized to exactly what you need. That can be more standardized. You can basically pay companies that have kind of template surveys that they will then do the entire process, but they're not building everything from scratch for you. Or you can, if we're looking at more data analytics based, like on web traffic, who is coming to your website, then there's online research services that you pay them. They will then track all that information for you about the interactions that people have with your website and report it back to you. So full service. In comparison, you can go limited service. And so then you are hiring out based on the parts that you are not comfortable with. So if you don't have a lot of people, so you need to hire someone to do the phone calls, the interviews, then in that case, you're going to need someone to do that part. So if you need to hire, you're a small company, few people, you need someone to conduct door to door. Which of these limited services is that? Just to kind of measure whether or not you recall our previous video. So in that case, that would be field service. All right. Who do you hire if you need to find people to survey? So if we're looking for trying to create that pool to sample from, well, then we have sample design and distribution services. If we're looking for that list of participants, we talked about market segment specialists can help you identify even if you're not sure who the population is. So sample design helps with find the sample. Market segment specialists will help you even if you're not quite sure who that population is even to pull from. And who do you hire if you need help with the statistics? You're not confident in the analysis, then that would be the data analysis services. So we might outsource just because we don't have the expertise. Okay. If we are doing an RFP and seeking proposals, then typically the standard is to seek at least 3 before you make a choice, just to make sure that you have exhausted, explored various different options in terms of cost and methods. And so, as I said before in the previous video, public sector requires minimum of 3 in Canada at least. Now, you can, as you outsource marketing research, talk with research professionals and to help you in terms of what's the proper design of your research and the interpretation of any research. So contact people who are professionals in this area, even if they're not going to be the company you're outsourcing to, who can help if you're trying to figure out the appropriate research design, sampling method before you select a vendor. Because remember, if you're not an expert in this field and that's the reason you're outsourcing, then of course you want to make sure that the proposals you're reviewing have a research design, a research method, and a sampling method appropriate for your research problem, and that will actually help make the organization's decisions. So to check that alignment, if that's the area you're not confident in, then you can seek out professionals there, that academic institutions in your neighborhood. There's always a marketing research, statisticians who can help you just provide a bit of feedback in terms of if you're on the right track. So you're then going to use the proposals they submit to figure out which one is the one you should award with the research project. So you're looking for their understanding of the problem. You're looking for their understanding of research in general? Do they have experience in doing research? How will they go about addressing your management decision problem? And then what are the costs and the time estimates? If we look at kind of here, so what do people typically look for in a researcher? So a marketing research firm in the US polled 100 companies and determined what most companies wanted out of a research firm. So here's the list. Can you put them in order of priority? So what do you think when they polled those 100 companies, what was the order? Well, give you a second to guess. The number one was to maintain client confidentiality. Okay, confidentiality, honesty are the most important. And then we have, is punctual, deadlines are set. So are you able to meet those deadlines? And then are you flexible? So if there are changes in protocols, if there are issues with can't find enough respondents, are you able to adapt to that? Are you able to deliver against the project specifications? So those deliverables, those objectives, can you meet those? Do you provide high quality output? Are you responsive to the client's needs? Do you have high quality control standards? Are you customer oriented in your interactions with the client? And do you keep the client informed? So if you are going to provide consulting work as a statistical analyst, a marketing researcher, what companies value the most is that confidentiality and honesty. So you got to be able to tell them if what they are putting forward as the scope of the project doesn't match their problem. You need to be able to tell them that. They value that honesty and that knowledge of research. That's why they hired you. Maintaining that confidentiality because you might be doing research projects for competitors. Can you keep that information confidential? Are you punctual, flexible? Can you meet those expectations? So if you're going to do this as a consulting job, then you need to make sure that you can meet these priorities. And because you'll notice a number of these are related to timelines, right? Project management is important. As well, these are related to ethics, and so we'll be talking about research ethics in later videos. We'll also be talking about project management in later videos if you make it through them all, right? All right.